When you were 10, a single summer felt like it lasted a lifetime. Now entire years vanish before you've even noticed they began. You're not imagining it. Time really is speeding up, not on the clock, but inside your head. And the reason why isn't that you're busier or older or tired. It's that your brain has quietly stopped recording your life. So where is all your time actually going? The answer will change how you experience every day you have left. Let's start with a number, because the math is the first clue. In 1897, a French philosopher named Paul Janet proposed something deceptively simple. The length of any period of your life, he said, is measured against the total amount of life you've already lived. To a 1-year-old, a single year is everything. It's 100% of their existence. To a 10-year-old, a year is a tenth of their life. But to a 50-year-old, that same year is just 1/50th. The exact same 365 days, shrinking against an ever-growing total. Think about what that actually means. The summer between your 10th and 11th birthday was roughly 10% of everything you had ever experienced. The year between 40 and 41 is around 2%. Proportionally, your childhood summers really were longer. Not in hours, but in the only place time is ever actually felt, your mind. This is called the proportional theory, and for over a century it was the best explanation we had. But it turns out it's only half the story, and the other half is hiding inside something you do every single day without noticing. Because time isn't just measured against how much you've lived. It's measured against how much you can remember, and those are not the same thing at all. Here is the part that changes everything. Your brain does not record time evenly. It records change. When you experience something new, a first kiss, a new city, a job you've never done before, your brain lays down dense, detailed memories. It's paying full attention, encoding everything, because everything matters. But when you do something you've done 1,000 times before, your brain does the opposite. It stops recording, it runs on autopilot. It files the entire experience under a label it already has and moves on. Neuroscientists have a name for the markers your brain uses to organize memory. Event boundaries. A new event, a new place. A surprise. These create boundaries, and boundaries are what your brain counts when it estimates how much time has passed. A week packed with first-time experiences is stuffed with boundaries, so in memory it feels enormous. A week of identical commutes has almost none, so it collapses into a single smear. This is why a vacation feels long while you're remembering it, even though it flew by while you lived it. And it's why a year of routine can vanish without leaving a trace. When you're young, almost everything is new. Your first day of school, your first time on a bike, your first heartbreak. But as you get older, the firsts run out. You settle into routines. The same drive, the same desk, the same faces, the same weekends. And the more your life repeats, the less your brain bothers to record. The days still happen. You're just not saving them. This is the cruel mechanism underneath the feeling. It isn't that the years are passing faster, it's that your brain is keeping fewer and fewer receipts. When you look back and ask where the year went, the honest answer is that, for your memory, most of it never happened at all. You lived it. You just didn't record it. And a life you can't remember feels, in hindsight, like it barely lasted. There's an experiment that makes this almost too real. Try right now to remember last Tuesday. For most people, it's simply gone. Now stretch that across the thousands of unremarkable days that make up an adult life, and you start to understand what's actually disappearing. It isn't time. It's you, the lived, felt, remembered texture of your own existence, quietly overwritten by repetition. And it gets stranger because this also explains a paradox almost everyone has felt. A monotonous day feels endless while you're inside it. Watching the clock at a job you hate, every minute drags. But look back on that entire month a year later, and it's a blank. Boredom feels slow in the moment and short in memory. Novelty feels fast in the moment and long in memory. Your brain runs two completely different clocks, one for living, one for remembering. And the gap between them is where your sense of a vanishing life is born. So is it hopeless? Are we just doomed to watch the years accelerate until they blur into nothing? Not quite, because once you understand the mechanism, you also understand the cure. And it's almost insultingly simple. If routine is what compresses time, then novelty is what stretches it back out. Every new experience you deliberately seek lays down fresh memory, creates new event boundaries, and gives your brain something to count. This is why a single week of travel in an unfamiliar country can feel longer in memory than 3 months of your normal life. You don't even need a plane ticket. Taking a different route home, learning something that frightens you a little, meeting someone whose life looks nothing like yours. putting down the phone and giving an ordinary afternoon your full, undivided attention. Each one is a small act of rebellion against autopilot, a way of telling your brain this one matters, save this one. Presence is, quite literally, how you slow down time. Not by adding hours to your life, but by adding life to your hours. The people who feel like they've lived the longest aren't the ones who lived the most years. They're the ones who lived the most moments, who kept noticing, kept changing, kept refusing to let the days fold into one another. Time didn't speed up for them because they never stopped paying attention. For most of your life, no one will tell you this is happening. The years will quietly compress, the routines will quietly multiply, and one day you'll look up and wonder where a decade went. The truth is, it didn't go anywhere. You were there for all of it. You just stopped recording, somewhere along the way, in exchange for the comfort of a life that no longer surprised you. We trade our sense of time for the safety of sameness, and most of us never even notice we're doing it. The clock was never the enemy. The autopilot was. And the moment you decide to wake up from it is the moment your life starts to feel long again. If this made you see something ordinary a little differently, that's the whole reason this channel exists. There's a new rabbit hole every week, the questions you never thought to ask. Subscribe so the next one finds you, and I'll see you down there.